Here we are, once again, for the Premier League predictions. We're moving on to game week 28 this week, and we're not seeing 20 games, we're not seeing 5 games. I mean, you really don't know what to predict in terms of a game week nowadays. It's not like it was 10, like every single week last year. We've got 10 games. We've actually got 10 games. It's every single team playing once. There's no double game weeks, so blank game week, nothing.
Absolutely, and this week we're filming while sober, which is a change from last week, I fear.
Maybe we'll be a little less expressive, shall we say?
Oh, I think expressions will be oozing all over the place. But you know what, Theo?
You knew?
Let's go on to the scores from last week, shall we?
But how did you know?
I've got my sources, Theo.
Oh my God. He's got some good sources, guys, because expressions really is our special guest, the man himself, the Spurs fan, for a great week for the North London derby. We timed this one good. How you doing, mate?
Jeez, expressions here, and big up Thogden, Thogdad, Thogdog, and all the subscribers on FogTube, fam. You know them way there. But enough of the pandering. You know what I'm here for. Premier League predictions. So let's get to it. Foggles gave me a list like Chris Jericho, fam. So without further ado, let's go.
But last week it was an underwhelming 5 points for Thogdad, a miserable 5 points for Theo. But I have to say, it's time to go because Claude absolutely smashed it with 8 points.
I'm quaking.
It's time to go!
Claude is beating us.
He has an overall...
It's time to go. Quite literally, it's time to go.
168 points to the guest, 174 to Thogden, and 203 to Thogden.
At least he didn't run away with 2 points away from me. That's key.
Yeah.
But we're moving on to this game week. I'm looking forward to it. We're starting things off with...
a like target of 16,000. Is that all right? Is that all right?
It's not possible. Okay, maybe the oozing army can bring enough added support. You know, it's like the TDL are coming together with the oozing army, and I think we'll be able to do 16,000 likes. I think we will. Newcastle versus Villa, and today it's going to be a very good game. That's my best Thogden impression. Is it good?
That was terrible. Newcastle United in 16th against Aston Villa in 9th, and neither team scored or conceded last week. But what about Newcastle? 1 point above the drop zone, Theo.
2 wins in 16 games. Yeah, like you said, just 1 point away from Fulham now. They need points, and realistically, I think they could get it here.
Yeah.
Villa have confirmed they're without Grealish. They've also confirmed they're out with Bertrand Traore too, so this is Newcastle's opportunity to get a shithouse 1-0 win. Because they've literally only won 2 games from the last 16, which isn't good enough. This is the time to do it. Watkins has now gone on a goalless run of 5 games. They'll be dying for him to score.
Now, Aston Villa's season is fading away a bit. They need a win real soon to get back in the European places, and I think they'll get it. Newcastle 0, Villa 1.
Really? You're back in the Villa? Well, that's big after their 0-0 draw against Wolves. I don't know where the goals have come from today. Newcastle look bad at the moment. I think Toon fans will agree with me on that. Villa look average, and without Bertrand Traore and Grealish, I'm seriously going to put my hands up and say I've gone for a 0-0. They're coming a lot more in the Premier League at the moment. I think it will happen again. But let's go over to expressions for his first prediction.
Newcastle versus Aston Villa. And to be honest, Grealish or no Grealish, Newcastle will have to change their stadium to St. James's Church and hope and pray like Movado for a win. It's going to take more than an Alan St. Maximin Gucci headband for them to get 3 points, blood. So I'm going for a 2-1 Villa.
Leeds United in 11th against Chelsea in 4th, and back in the 70s, this was the battle of the hooligans. Now, I tell you what, Leeds United, they've only won 1 of the last 5, and they're missing chances every week. I've got Rafinha and Dallas and Bamford in my fantasy team. Missing chances there.
Thogdad, Chelsea Leeds is always a bit of a feisty fixture. I'm telling you.
Feisty one you are.
On this video, the only arranged scrap that'll be happening is Thogdad versus Greg Paul on the Jake Paul Ben Askren undercard.
Oh, do you want that to happen? But meanwhile, Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel has got them playing some wonderful football, hasn't he, Theo?
He has. And to be honest, I can't see any other way of this game going apart from a Chelsea win. Tuchel's been really good.
Yeah.
Leeds, they look disappointing, and it's disappointing because they play well. They're not clinical with their opportunities. You play West Ham, that's like playing a top 8 team this year. Well, it is like playing a top 8 team. They're a really good side. You've got to be clinical and take your chances. It was poor from Leeds because they played well, but they weren't clinical. So for me, Bielsa needs to come into this, take your chances, he needs to tell the players. Calvin Phillips is back in the team now, so they will be better defensively and good on the transition from defence to attack. In terms of Chelsea, if they play their normal game, this will probably end up a Blues win, won't it?
Yeah, I'm going for Leeds 1, Chelsea 2.
Okay, well, Bamford scored the opener in the reverse fixture, but that game ended 3-1 to Chelsea, and I think they'll link the goals again. I'm going to go Leeds 0, Chelsea 2, and I get the feeling Werner double. Said no one ever. I went for it. Does Expressions agree, though?
Leeds versus Chelsea. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Bielsa versus Thomas Directory Tuchel, blood. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. As much as I hate to say it, I think Chelsea will win. Leeds' defence has been open throughout the whole of COVID, blood. Bielsa should be receiving lockdown fines because I'm telling you, football's a business, you know. Leeds play attacking football, but I think Tuchel arriving has changed things for Chelsea, blood. I'm going 2-0 Chelsea, and Orlando Abramovich and his men will get the victory, unfortunately for me.
And now for Crystal Palace against West Bromwich Albion, 13th against 19th. Now, Crystal Palace battered last week by Spurs, but they should be safe from relegation, Theo.
When Hodgson plays Big Sam, everybody's watching. This will outdo the TV numbers of all the games, I'm telling you.
West Brom have got 1 defeat from 5 games, but they've only won 3 games this season. Can Big Sam keep them up or not?
Well, Big Sam broke the viewing figures when he drew 0-0 to Newcastle in the last game. That was an absolute Christmas cracker, and it ain't even Christmas. Palace, though, I tell you what, in that game versus Spurs, 4-1, Harry Kane was unbelievable. I think when they play players that good, it's just, they can't handle it, Palace.
Yes.
I think it's fair to say. I think Zaha's fit, and if he starts, he'll score. I think Palace will win 1-0. I'm sorry, West Brom fans. Maybe Big Sam will do it from somewhere. It could be a 0-0 again. It's one of them ones. What do you reckon, Dan?
I'm going for Crystal Palace 1, West Bromwich Albion 0.
You're nutty.
And over to Expressions oozing.
Next up, Palace versus West Brom. Crystal Meth FC versus Big Sam Alizé. And I think that's going to be a draw. And to be honest, I'll probably be smoking a draw instead of watching that game. I'm going for a 1-1, but I digress.
And now for Everton in 6th against Burnley in 15th. It's a Lancashire derby. Now, Everton lost to a brilliant Chelsea, but they remain in the European places and they're ahead of Tottenham Hotspur and Liverpool, Theo.
Before their 2-0 loss to Chelsea, they went 3 in a row. I think people forget that. They've been good recently. Richarlison's been scoring the goals. His price just went on in FPL, so if you're buying him now, you're paying a higher price, but maybe it's a good time to buy him because it's Burnley at home.
Well, I'll tell you what, Burnley have got 4 draws in the last 5 games, but what worries me is they need to win the occasional game.
They haven't.
Sean Dyche is brilliant. He's a brilliant manager.
And he'll keep them up.
And I think this will be a tight game, Theo. What do you think?
Well, Burnley haven't won in the 5, like you said, and 4 draws is great, but they need to grind out some wins. I know they will survive, but if they want to just, you know, these games are winnable, basically, is what I'm trying to say. James, he doesn't look like he's going to be back for the game.
Yes.
If he was back, Everton would win this comfortably. I think he will bring enough creativity to the side to do that, but I'm not sure if he'll play 90 minutes. He may come on. I get the feeling Richarlison will score again, but I am going to back the Toffees to win 2-1.
And I'm going to back the Toffees to win 1-0. It's going to be a tight game.
Expressions, what are you going for?
Everton versus Burnley. And after Everton got spread out like Dairy Lee cheese blood by Chelsea, I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll bounce back and hand out a Morgan Freeman special, blood. I'm going 3-1 Everton. I think Sean Dyche, Steve Austin will get a goal, but the only guarantee is that he looks like a young Phil Mitchell fan.
And now for Fulham in 18th against Manchester City in 1st. Now Fulham 8 points in 5 games. They are threatening the great escape from the relegation zone, Theo, aren't they?
And it's crazy to think a month ago they were 10 points in the relegation zone deep. After their away win at Liverpool 1-0, they're sitting 1 point away from getting out that relegation zone. It's an incredible turnaround from Scott Parker, but it's not going to be easy because they're playing probably the best team in the world right now.
Well, I tell you what, Man City lost to their local rivals, didn't they?
Did.
But then they smashed Southampton. Foden 3 assists.
But they slipped in
De Bruyne 2 goals. Mahrez 2 goals. They were brilliant that day, weren't they?
They slipped in a few goals, didn't they?
They certainly did.
Che Adams was on top form. Ward-Prowse scored as well. A disallowed goal. Like, to concede 3 to Southampton on the form they're in, it's a little bit dodgy. One of them was disallowed, thankfully, for City.
Well, they were brilliant defensively until about 3 games ago, and I think this has got potential banana skin written all over it.
Yeah.
If this is 0-0, I wouldn't be surprised.
Seriously?
But it's City, so I'm going to go Fulham 0, City 2.
0-0? Did you seriously just suggest a 0-0?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Because Fulham defensively are very good at the moment.
Yeah, but
and I reckon if Fulham can survive this season, they could be mid-table next season.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement. But I get the feeling it'll be Fulham 1, Man City 3.
Wow.
I think Fulham will score. City aren't holding on to clean sheets recently, but City love to outscore teams, and they have quality. But what does Expressions reckon?
Fulham versus Man City. Titanic FC versus Monopoly Chester FC, who just got double stuffed like an Oreo from their neighbours on the weekend. It was peak. But I can't lie, I reckon Fulham will hold the sword like He-Man Warrior of Grayskull, you know. City are going to bounce back and give them 4, blood. 4-0.
Hit the woe. Hit the woe and then we'll get into it. Hit the woe.
Go on, what's that?
Yeah, and it, No!
And now for Southampton against Brighton, 14th against 17th. It's the battle of the South Coast now. Southampton, did you bring Ward-Prowse into your fantasy team?
Dad,
he's just bagged 2 in 2 games.
If I could time travel, I would. Ward-Prowse is not only a great player, he deserves the call up to the Euros this summer. If you're English and you're sitting there that this guy doesn't deserve to be in England's midfield, you're a mug. This geezer's been unbelievable. He could be our set piece taker. Southgate, I hope you're watching, mate. Coming into this game, both these sides have been the bad performers recently. Yes. I thought you were going to say the battle of the bad performers, because Brighton have been playing well, but they're not being clinical. And they lost to Leicester, a rotated Leicester side, by the way, without Barnes and Maddison, who are both injured. How did they bottle that home?
I know, and Brighton have got the worst form in the league, and they are so close to the relegation zone. I think it's going to get worse. Southampton 2, Brighton 1. Southampton are playing better in recent weeks.
I can't see Brighton dropping more points, like, completely. I think this will be a 1-1 draw. I think both these teams will take that and help them build on from it, because they've both been playing all right, just not getting the wins in. It's weird.
That is a big statement. Now over to you, expressions oozing.
Southampton versus Brighton. Where do I start? I reckon Danny Inzaghi and his men will be too much for Steven Seagal FC. You know them way there. You only go Brighton for a stick of rock, blood. Big up Steven Seagal FC and that, but all the Aikido in the world won't save them from relegation. They're in trouble. They're in so much trouble, I reckon the crime rate's gone up in Brighton. You know them way there this season. I'm going 2-1 to the Hamptons. I mean the Saints, you know, like that.
Leicester City in 3rd against Sheffield United in 20th. Now Leicester, they've got injury woes, Barnes and Maddison in particular, but they keep grinding out results, don't they, Theo?
They do. Sheffield United lost 2-0 to the Saints, and that's the only win the Saints have got in the last few weeks. So that just puts you into perspective how bad Sheffield United must be at the moment. Yeah,
they are down. Let's not talk about that again. And here I'm going Leicester 2, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, you're going straight into it. Well, I was going to say, Leicester lost to Slavia Prague, who Rangers are playing tonight. You would have known the result by this video goes out, but we don't. And I get the feeling, you know, Leicester can now focus on the league, and Iheanacho's scored in the last 2 league games. Yeah. He's turned up, linking up with Vardy well, now that Maddison and Barnes obviously can't play. But they got a big win versus Brighton, and Brendan Rodgers always seems to find a way. It's impressive. So I'll back him again. 1-0 win to the Foxes. But expressions, what are you going for, son?
Leicester City versus Sheffield United. Mo Leicester City versus Kelbrook FC, and I'm not gonna lie, I see this going in one direction like Zayn Malik, blood. I understand that Leicester have injuries, but who's Sheffield got? McGoldrick, blood. McGoldrick. Just because a man looks like Common and Suge Knight, blood, don't mean anyone's scared of him on the pitch, blood. You get me? He ain't got no techers. I'm going 2-0 Leicester because the Foxes are hungry.
And now for Arsenal in 10th against Tottenham Hotspur in 7th. It's the North London derby, otherwise known as the 3rd best team in London against the 4th best team in London. Theo, what's going to happen here?
You're not going to be able to walk around North London now, are you?
Well, I did my ankle. It'll be forgotten in a few days. But seriously, Arsenal, Aubameyang scored against Burnley. But which Arsenal's going to turn up, Theo?
Fuck, Dad. How did you do your ankle in? You can't play sports right now.
I know.
How did that happen?
I was just crossing the road, wasn't I? And I fell. It happens when you're older, Theo. It happens. What's going to happen here, Theo? Now, Tottenham Hotspur have been amazing in recent weeks. What about Harry Kane last week? 2 goals, 2 assists.
Brilliant. And he was
Son got an assist. Lucas Moura was great. Gareth Bale got a couple of goals. Yeah, he was your captain.
He was my captain. Harry Kane. And people had Mahrez captain as well. I mean, that is unprecedented. Really good stuff from whoever did that. My mate Zach, well done. Spurs are on really good form. That front 3 is deadly. Lucas Moura in behind them could be Dele Alli. Whatever Jose Mourinho goes for, they've got an on-form forward line. I think they're more on form than Arsenal right now. I know Arsenal did get that Benfica 3-2 win. Great comeback. Willian, he's back. Arsenal have been doing well in the league too. I'll give them respect. I think Saka, Aubameyang, Willian, they'll be all, you know, licking their lips thinking they could do something today. The last time they went to the Emirates, it was a 2-2 draw. I think we could see a similar story. There is glimpses of quality in both sides. and maybe sitting on the fence is the best option. But you have to say, the last 2 head-to-head North London derbies have gone Spurs' way, and you can't ignore that, can you, Dad?
You can't, but Arsenal a bit schizophrenic. You win one, you lose one. You win one, you lose one. It's like Leeds, but in London. So you know what? I'm going to sit on the fence, 1-1, Theo.
I knew you were going to do this. I think with the quality of Spurs forward line and Arsenal's forward line, it won't be a 0-0 like all the other boring top 6 games we're seeing, or the old top 6. It might be low scoring, and you're probably going to be right, but I've got to differentiate from Thogdad. I know you're going to be right with the 1-1, but I can't say it. I'm going to say Arsenal 1, Spurs 2, and I'm going to back the Spurs against the odds because the bookies are in favour of Arsenal. So you could argue that this is actually an underdog prediction, even though I don't know how it is, because they've got such a good front 3. And without fans, I genuinely believe Kane. We all saw what happened last time at New White Hart Lane early in the season. He was unbelievable. I think it could happen again. Expressions, we brought you on. Maybe there's a little bit of bias there because I'm trying to be nice to the Spurs predictor. Let's see what he goes for. A draw, a Spurs win. What about expressions?
And finally, the North London derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham, the game where form goes out the window like the end of a spliff, fam. You know them way there. In the league, winning at the Emirates is actually a myth for us. I'm not even going to lie. But it's different this time. There's no fans. So I think this is our moment. After we handed out that 2-0, blood. At our stadium, we handed out the double salvo, the Venus and Serena Williams. They got touch, fam. iPad FC. However, this game, I reckon it's going to be close. It's going to be closer than Tia and Tamara. Sister, fam. It's going to be close. I'm going for a 2-1 Tottenham, but my gut feeling says 2-2. But on wax, I'm saying 2-1, blood. I don't see us losing. But if we do lose, I'm telling you, we are cursed, blood. Jason from Top Boy FC, bro. Everything suggests we should win this game, innit? Nah. 2-1 with my chest. Come on, boys. If we lose, don't at me, blood.
And now for the biggest game of the weekend. Manchester United in second against the brilliant West Ham United in fifth. Now, both teams won 2-0 last week. And Man United beat City 2-0. And bragging rights in Manchester go to the red side for a few weeks until City win the league.
It's impressive. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could be the one. He could
really
be the one.
Could.
He's playing tonight against Milan in the Europa League, so that statement might look absolutely stupid if Milan somehow go and get a win. But we don't know because we're filming this before the game, and the video comes out after. United in the Manchester derby were absolutely unbelievable. I want to give a little bit of credit to Anthony Martial with an underrated performance. And Bruno scored again. Fair play. Under David Moyes, playing against his old club again, he's going to want to go there. And whilst his team are on form, try and get a result.
Absolutely. The sadness is that Jesse Lingard can't play, Theo. He scored last week. He's in my fantasy team. He is superb. He's rejuvenated. But anyway.
And you've done well there.
I reckon Man United will edge this one. I think it'll be close. I'm going 1-0 to Man United.
I was so close to set. Okay, I'm not surprised you said a 1-0 United. I thought you'd go a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
And I bet you were close to giving it. I've edged it and said United to win 2-1.
Yeah.
I think West Ham will score. United will get 2 and get the win at the Old Trafford. But it's going to be close. And by the way, West Ham against Leeds, Craig Dawson scored a goal and somehow I predicted it. Right now, Dawson is going to score a header from a set piece in that match. Nuts, isn't it?
It is. That was absolutely outrageous. Now, I've got to say, I once went to an awards dinner and met Expressions oozing. He's hilarious. What do you think, mate?
Man United versus West Ham. And I'm not going to lie, this is going to be a good game at the theatre of no screens. I think it's going to be a draw. Both teams are playing well. And let's be serious, innit? Man United are guaranteed a penalty like parking on a double yellow line, fam. So I'm going for a 2-2. West Ham 2, Man United 2. I'm going for a draw.
And we finish this video with a mid-table clash between Wolverhampton Wanderers in 12th and Liverpool in 8th. Now, Wolves, a bit of a mini revival in recent weeks there.
Dad, you've just offended half of Liverpool.
No, they agree. They agree with me at the moment.
Even after their comfortable 2-0 win in the Champions League.
Thing. And well done, Liverpool, for getting into the last 8 of the Champions League. But in the Premier League, it's just woeful. 3 points in 5 games.
Not good enough,
There's only one team with worse form in the whole division, Theo. What's going to happen here?
I just don't know at this point. You know, Wolves are drawing 0-0s to Villa. And obviously they're lower scoring because they're missing Raul Jimenez. He was the man. You know, they built their team around him. Because he was the goal scorer. So they're still a little bit shook by that. Sometimes they pop up with goals when Adama and others like to turn up. But I get the feeling it won't be the case. Liverpool, funnily enough, in the Champions League with that 2-0 win, it was a home game, but it was at neutral ground. Arguably, avoiding Anfield might have helped them.
I know, that is ridiculous, isn't it?
They're literally better away from home. And this is an away game. I think Diogo Jota's going to have a masterclass. Ex-Wolves. You know, we all know the Connor Cody versus Liverpool. You know, he's a Liverpool fan growing up. That's always it's a little bit of a heated game. I think Liverpool get the bragging rights on this game as well. I think they'll win 2-0. I think Jota will score against his old club. I think Mane will get another goal because he scored in the Champions League again. So yeah, 2-0, comfortable. I think this could be the slow revival of Liverpool in the Prem.
Wow, big shout there. Wolves have got no attacking threat, but I think they'll get a goal from somewhere. But I think Liverpool will as well. 1-1.
1-1?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You're not going for a Liverpool win?
No.
That's mad.
No.
If you get that one right, I'll give it to you, Thogdad. Anyway, listen, that's what we have to say. Let's go over to expressions because enough of us waffling. Let's get him in. He's the funny guy here.
Wolves versus Liverpool. And oh my, Brookside FC have been struggling this season. They were Viagra pool last season. They won everything. This season, Impotence FC, blood. The only guarantee for Liverpool fans is that they're going to take 6 points off Tottenham every season. And I'm still fuming about that. Wolves, Winterfell FC, Ned Stark Football Club. To be honest, they've been on the decline like 30 Wap too, blood. I'm not even going to lie. But this game, think it will be close. I'm going for a Desmond 2-2 special, blood. 2-2 again.
Oh my goodness, the expressions are oozing out of that guy. I mean, he's brilliant, isn't he, Theo?
You're just so old and you're a boomer, Dad. You just cringe.
But thanks for having me on, guys, and big up FogTube for reaching 500,000, blood. You know them way there. Gang business.
I have to say, expressions, like one of the funniest guys I've ever met in person.
Yeah.
We don't even know what he said on these videos, but I bet it's the funniest cracker. This geezer's honestly the funniest person you ever meet. His link will be in the chat, in the description, guys. So go subscribe to him and send him some TDL love. Guys, get down in the comments as well and let us know what team you support in the Prem and how you think you'll do this weekend. Let us know how you think the outcome will go and maybe we'll like, comment, respond. You will be too, won't you, Dad?
It'd be very rude not to, and everyone like and subscribe.
Yeah, and also follow Thogden and Thogdad on Instagram. We'll be doing a couple more follow back. We always throw in a little follow backs here and there on the day of an upload. So if you have, go do it and go follow the new Twitch. Josh will throw it on the screen now. Don't be a mug, Thogden _. What a name. What a name. Go do it now. Right, see you all in a bit. Enjoy the Prem. Bye, guys.
See ya.